Angela from Ash Meadow Studio. It's been a while since I've done a video, so I'm glad to be back. Today we are going to use some papers that I got and received in a Happy Mail from the girls over at PM Artist Studio. They had actually sent me over a Happy Mail, a swap and make that had different papers in it, but thanks to it being 2 months later and my brain not being really good at memory, they're gone. I don't know. I've had a lot of people in the house and I couldn't find the envelope, but these girls in this community are amazing. And they had sent me a Happy Mail when Mariah had found out that I wasn't doing well, and sent me these gorgeous papers. And these are samples of one of their kits. So we're going to use them to do today something very different. It's called Neurographical Art or Neuro Art. And it's a way of, well, for me anyway, it's going to be a way of taking all the stress off of me whenever I'm putting pressures on myself because of the neurological issues that I have. I find it really difficult to do a lot of things, and such as measuring and that type of thing. And that's why I had problems with my video before. I've tried to do this video like 3 or 4 different times and it's crazy. So we're going to use these papers in a way that haven't been used before. We're going to create neuro art. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to select some of the papers that I want to use for this. Some of the pieces are smaller than they actually arrived here because, like I said, this is the 4th video. The first 3 that I created was to make paper beads, and that was my plan, but it definitely fell through. I couldn't decide which way to even turn a ruler when I was trying to cut papers, and a tutorial was just something that I wasn't capable of doing. Hopefully I will at some point because I love them, and I find that the Gelli prints and mixed media papers and those are like some of the best ones. Like, they just turn out gorgeous and beautiful. You just take the colors you have, or even like scraps from a kit that you've used and cut off pieces, and those cutoffs can become beautiful beads to stick onto your tassels, which is a really cool way of doing it. But that will have to be a later video. So we're going to go through, and I just need to pick the colors. Those are the ones that were my favorites out of this, and these were the beads that I actually made, and I'll show you. They turned out pretty cool, but I want to go through and just get the colors and decide what we're going to do and go from there. I tried playing around with some different things, and I think what I'm going to do is, this is just it's a Sharpie, a metallic bronze, and I'm going to use that for my lines. And then you need like a waterproof pen, like if you want to go in and add some definition, which I'm going to try to do. And so I'm going to use this Prismacolor one. And then I have these gel, they're like gelatos, they're like the gel crayons, and I haven't used them. Like, I've used them like 2 times. So I really haven't used them. I played with them much, and I tried to play with them a little bit, and I think they'll be pretty cool to do this with, because I know that you can, I got them from Amazon, just so you know, and I think these colors, I've got like a, let me take a look. Yeah, I'm going to use these colors. I've got this metallic bronze that I'm going to use, and then this is metallic dark blue, but it's really not going to be dark the way we're going to use it, and then this is turquoise, and I think they'll look really good with some of the colors that we're using here. Nothing fancy. I'm just going to take them, I'm going to mark them down on this plate and just add some to this plate. I'm going to discover as we go through here I needed a lot more than this, but you're learning with me. So I'm going to put these on here. We'll just put them on a paper plate, and then I'm going to use a wet paintbrush when I go through and add it to the pages. I'll show you. All right, this is the book we're going to be working in. I actually have this to help me remember things. I had set it out, put lots of fun things on this tassel that, made me feel like I could just do whatever and use colors I don't normally use and that type of thing. And I have a really hard time with my memory, so I thought that I would have this, but clearly the contents is blank. And I've started, little things, didn't really quote anybody. This was for my YouTube videos I uploaded and for putting down the design team projects I was doing for Louise Heinzel and for Kelly at Crafts by Kelly. I worked in a little bit of a vacation time, and here's where I used those King's Art gel crayons is one of the times. I used a couple of colors, and I thought it would be easier if I made like circles, and I think some people can understand that if I just made it smaller instead of a whole page, that it would be easier for me to do. And I did it, and I love this little sticker just because it said what I tend to say all the time. But you can see it's blank, but it's bright colors and things I don't normally do, and for doodle art. So since the book had really good papers, I decided that I would go in. I used clear gesso on a couple of pages because I wasn't sure how much I would be working on. And I don't know, I've never used it before. I've never used the gelatos on gesso before, so I guess we'll see how it works together. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and make sure that the papers I'm going to use have no sharp points to them. They're all rounded off. It's Neurographica, Neuro Art, Neurographical Art. It all means the same thing. And it comes from a neuron, which is a cell that carries the messages between the brain and other parts of the body. And it's the basic unit of the nervous system. And then the graphics is the arts and pictures and shapes and that type of thing. And the Russian psychologist who developed this, and it's rapidly gaining popularity. It was back in 2014 is when it started. And the belief is that you concentrate on a problem or a situation or what's creating anxiety for you, and then you will go in and start at the edge of a paper, and you do circular motions, and you just let your mind flow with those thoughts and try to release them. And by the time you're done with the picture, you should work through them. I've never seen it done with paper, so I thought, we're going to use paper. We're going to see how it works. I mean, why not? I wanted to use these papers. I think they're beautiful, and they just lend themselves to this type of thing. So I've taped off the book. I've glued down the pages. I'm gonna get out the Sharpie. Wish me luck. And we're gonna go from here. So with my bronze Sharpie, I'm just going in and just freely just making loops and circles, making sure there's no sharp edges. And then what you're supposed to do is go in like I'm doing now, and wherever there's any sharp point, like connections, you round that off. And here's where I kind of OCD'd out quite a bit, just to make sure that there were none, or if the markers weren't straight. But that's my process. That's how my brain works. And I still found it relaxing. It was a little frustrating. I do think that next time I will do it without using the papers, or I'll do it and make my circles and my loops and my connections, and then go in and add the paper afterwards. And with the colors, I'm using the gel crayons and going in, and I had added some water. Oh, now I'm adding smaller loops and being crazy, because what I want is I'm using 3 colors, and I want to make sure that I've got them, somewhat, spread out and enough to where, I don't know, my brain just needed to have more lines. I was just checking to make sure that my Sharpie was actually a Sharpie, because Lesson number one with using the gesso is that evidently Sharpie will remain wet, and it also, I get, maybe it was because of the gelatos that it smeared, like it smeared, the gold was smearing into the colors, and I was working with the tan anyway, so that kind of worked. And it was metallic, so that was okay. But whenever I pulled in the other colors, I was having to go back in and kind of like go around the edges just to make sure that it was blending in okay, which was fine because it was, I'm playing. I'm having a really good time, actually. It was really relaxing once I started doing it. And I think that using it as a meditative type way, I think it would be really good for me. Like, I'm outside of the box. I'm putting two colors beside each other. Anybody who has ever seen my Christmas tree knows that that's just not okay. But I'll let myself go to do it. And yeah, I really enjoyed the process. I also figured out, instead of I put the colors down on the paper plate and then added a drop of water on each. As I started going through the process, I wanted more pigment. So you could see me going back in and adding more. I would add it to the plate and then just not add water, and just use the wet paintbrush. And that easily mixed it, and it gave me more color, a little bit more saturation, and I liked it. It gave me overall more of the color that I was looking for. And I mean, you can do it however, but that was just the way that worked best for me. And I'm going to just speed this up for you real fast. After this, I'm just grabbing the black waterproof pen to add some definition. Started regretting it a little bit, but figured it out finally. And what worked best in the situation was the actual paint pens that I had whenever I was painting rocks long ago, is my way of therapy. And they did work best. So I wound up using this, a Sharpie, nothing really seemed to work. And then I pulled out those pens and it worked. I did go in and clean up the lines with the gold, or with the bronze marker. But yeah, it really did work best. So after much cleaning up with the bronze marker, I really like it. Like, the tape did bleed out a little bit. I think that's just from it being on the gesso. Next time, I think I'm going to do it without gesso, because this is really good paper in the book. So I think that'll be okay. But yeah, I mean, if you've ever tried the neurographical art, or are interested in it, or would like to try it, I'm definitely going to be doing it again. I'll definitely post some more videos when I do. I may just do them with music over them, because now you kind of have an idea of what's going on. But I hope that you enjoyed the process, and that you will the girls over at PM Artist, and they do a live when they show their jelly prints and stuff. They do that on Sundays usually. So that's really cool. I think I'm going to add a little bit more to this, just not to the picture itself, but just like the date and that type of thing. But, and like I said, some of the paint pen is still a little wet, but that definitely worked best for doing it. And it was easy to go in and go clean up. So I'll be doing that, and even like some water splattered on them, and I had like some paint on one of them, but I just cut out circles and put over top. So I think next time I do it, I will add the paper after I do the design. So that way I'm more free about it. I can be a little freer in expressing myself. But this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Please like the video. I'm definitely trying to build up my channel, so would greatly appreciate it. And if you have any ideas or on doing something else, just let me know. And here's the finished product.